The Mayo Experience.
Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Mayo Experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience Week 6 injury update. DraftKings plays, DraftKings ownership, maybe some updated spreads, and an adjustment to the overall weekly rankings. If you are looking for said rankings, the updated version, hit the description or comment section of this video or podcast, and boom, you can find it there. Just like you can find the link to the Week 6 Pat Mayo Experience Listeners League DraftKings contest, $15 to enter, 3 max entry, 3,500 spots, no rake. All of the money that is in the prize pool is going back to everyone who plays. People aren't signing up for this for whatever reason, despite it being the best tournament on DraftKings, not reserving your spot early enough. We're filling it just too late in order to make it bigger. I want to make this bigger. We can get back up to $60K guaranteed. We can get up to $75,000 guaranteed if you just go hit reserve on it earlier in the week. It's not that difficult to figure out. Let's do that. DraftKings is giving us a no rake opportunity. Let's take advantage of that. And I'm in it too. So, I mean, like, I'm awful. So it's better than rake free. It's rake free plus 3 dead lineups. If you want to get to a draw for 20 DK bucks, 3 ways to do so this week. 1, smash the like button for the episode. Leave your DraftKings handle in the comment section and tell me which running back in the $4,000 range, if you only had to play one, which one would it be? Because there is a bunch this week that you could probably end up going to, especially now with some of this injury news. Way number 2, subscribe to the Pat Mayo Experience audio podcast. Download all the episodes that are up there whenever they come out. You don't need to listen to them, just download them. That works out good for me. But also, rate 5 stars, leave your DraftKings handle in that review, and say something nice about the show. That's way number 2. Way number 3, Instagram. Follow me at the PME. Like one of the photos that goes up there about football or sports-related content. Just shimmy your DraftKings handle into the comment section. Boom. You'll be in the draw for 20 DK bucks. I'll be live 9:30 a.m. Eastern time on the DraftKings YouTube channel on Sunday morning, taking your questions, breaking down all of the latest news. That's while the other game is going. Good background noise, so you don't have to listen to the shitty commentary. Boom, it works out for everyone. And then I'll be live again on Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern time on the DraftKings YouTube channel, where I'll announce the winners of those draws for 20 DK bucks. I think I got it, Chris Meaney.
It's a lot to unravel. There's a lot of injuries this week.
Oh my God. Man.
And by the way, that is the best contest in the game. I do it every single week. Reserve, reserve, reserve. I'm in. I'm locked and loaded. Sunday morning, boom. I thought I was doing okay last week. Of course, everybody has CMC, but I had Fuller. I had Thielen on a roster. I'm like, yeah.
No
Not so
Jones?
much. Not so much. No Jones at all.
No Eags D?
Yeah, and I know you had some Jones in another contest you and I were in. Yeah, no Jones, and that was killer. I mean, what a scoring performance. Like, what a week.
Yeah, it feels like this week you had to have over 300 to win a giant GPP on DraftKings last week. I feel like this week it's going to be like 91.
Yeah. I mean, that Will Fuller performance was like top 7, I think, of all time, like for fantasy performances. It was crazy. And what was he knocked down at the 1 a couple times?
Yeah.
He could have had 2 more touchdowns. When we said it was eventually going to come, but I didn't think it would be like that.
Well, we've seen this a bunch of times already this year where they clear like, well, this guy's going to regress positively at some point.
Yeah.
So just keep playing him until he does. It happened with Mike Evans. Forget who the running back was that it happened to, and like all these air yards guys. Will Fuller was that guy for a few weeks, but it all just comes at once. Like normally it regresses over like a 4-week span. Like, oh, he catches a touchdown here. He has the 70-yard catch here. But no, it's just the 1 week. 2 touchdowns, 200 yards, 14 catches, just all comes at once.
Yeah, we've seen that with a few guys, like you said. I mean, even Sammy Watkins week 1 hasn't done absolutely anything since that game, and now he's not playing anymore. And Tyreek Hill's back, so you wonder, like, Sammy Watkins owners probably like
might be back. He might be back this week.
Might be back, yeah.
Trending towards play.
Yeah, I saw him tweet how he couldn't wait, so I feel like he's fired up.
All right, so let's go over some of these guys. Let's start at running back as it pertains to the injuries. These are the guys that I have as likely in. Christian McCaffrey, he's had this back problem. He's practicing in full over in London. He should be good to go. David Johnson returned to practice on Friday. He's a game time decision. He should be good to go as well. Tony Pollard, looks like he's going to play. No one really cares. Jamal Williams is back, which could hurt Aaron Jones a little bit.
Yeah.
Not so much that I'd bench Jones, but just like He's not a top 5 guy this week.
Yeah, you can't trust LaFleur. I mean, we can't give him too much credit for the Jones thing. His hand was forced. He had to play Aaron Jones, right? I mean, if Jamal Williams was in that game, you wonder if Jones would have got so much play.
So let's get to one of the bigger ones shaping up right now before we get to the guys who are doubtful and out. Likely in, I still have Alvin Kamara listed as in right now. He did not practice Thursday. He did not practice Friday. I think I would give him the benefit of the doubt as he's one of these guys that could not practice on a Friday and actually end up playing. However, if he doesn't play, what do you do with Latavius Murray?
Man, I know. I like Latavius Murray.
I would like him a lot more if Drew Brees
That's
was
what I was
going to
say. Like if Drew Brees is the quarterback, you feel good about him a little bit more. But I think at his price point, you probably just roll him out there, don't you?
Well, we'll have an overarching discussion here once we finish the injuries about all the guys that you can play who are cheap.
Yeah.
Like, are you just going to put 3 cheap running backs into your lineup? Probably not.
No.
And Murray is $3,700 on DraftKings this week. I'm more concerned about this as it pertains to Murray from like a season-long perspective.
Yeah.
So if Kamara plays, you play Kamara. I think that's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Even if he is banged up,
You just play him.
what else are you going to do?
Exactly, you play him.
So with Murray, like, would you play Phillip Lindsay or Latavius Murray?
I'd play Phillip Lindsay.
Would you?
Yeah, I would.
Like, would you play Melvin Gordon or Latavius Murray?
I'd play Melvin Gordon. I think he's due for a few more snaps. I'd go for that upside in Melvin Gordon. And for Phillip Lindsay, I mean, he's been pretty good. You know what Denver wants to do? They want to run the football. He's been involved through the air. So I would go that way. Keep going, though, because he is an intriguing name.
Adrian Peterson.
So there I may go Latavius. Like, what are we really expecting from Adrian Peterson? Like,
38
Brian Callahan
carries.
is there. He wants to have AP as the featured back. He wants to give him a bunch of touches. But really, like, what's the upside?
He's playing Miami. They're actually
I think they're the second worst against the run.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I do think that there is upside as a 3-point favorite in a game where they can continue to run. Like,
What do you figure? 20 carries, maybe he gets
80
85
yards?
yards and he falls into the end zone. That's fine.
you have to hope he falls into the end zone twice.
Sure.
But what are we really expecting from Murray? He hasn't looked good
I know.
so
He
far
hasn't
this
looked
year.
good at all.
In Jacksonville, you can run on them, and there's not going to be Jalen Ramsey in this game either. I don't know. I'm kind of torn on that. I think I would play him. Would I play him over? I'd play him over Devonta Freeman.
I would play him over Freeman too. Absolutely. Like
So-
Freeman just hasn't really shown us anything all year.
He gets like a greasy touchdown when the Falcons are down by 80
Yeah,
points.
he's been
congrats.
better in the air than on the ground, and even Ito Smith is getting some catches.
I think that Ito Smith is just a better running back, and we're going to get to a point of the season where Ito Smith is just starting for the Falcons.
Sure. I mean, you may come here Monday morning and see Dan Quinn fired, and
If
there's
they lose,
they
yeah.
lose in Arizona,
I picked Atlanta again this week because I'm a sucker.
I'm a sucker too. I have them as well. I mean, there's no excuses for them to lose to Arizona. Like offensively, they're strong. It's just defensively, they just can't tackle anybody. But there's no excuse to lose that game. But I would play him over Freeman. Yeah.
So that's the range, like running back 25,
mid-20s.
26. Like that's where I'd slot in
Yeah.
Murray. And I guess, here's actually the bigger question, because when Ingram was out last year and Kamara was just playing, he played like 98% of the snaps. Then it went into a split. And we haven't really seen what happens if Kamara's not there.
Right.
Like, does that mean Murray's going to touch the ball 85% of the time? Because
I would assume so, yeah.
Dwayne Washington's still there. We've seen him come in. Like, do they just kind of Murray upgrades to the Kamara being on, like, and maybe they don't like his pass catching ability. Maybe Dwayne Washington is someone they prefer more in the passing game, although he's not proven himself to be a very good receiver.
No.
Maybe that's how they want to use him. And if we're looking for a 50-50 split, I think you have to factor that into the ranking a little bit, just because we don't know how this is going to work.
Yeah, and all of the almost every single target apart from Kamara has gone to Michael Thomas. Like Teddy Bridgewater's not throwing the ball really to anybody else. So you wonder if there is no Alvin Kamara, like how many dump offs is Latavius going to get? Is he going to be that 3-down back? And I think he would be. I think that they trust him enough in that role. He's a decent pass blocker. He's been in this situation before, right? In Minnesota, when Dalvin Cook wasn't around, he had a few catches here and there. He just wasn't always taken off the field. I mean, Derek McKinnon came in a couple times, but most of the time it really was Latavius. So yeah, with Drew, if it was Drew Brees, I think we're talking about him being like a top 10 back.
I agree.
Absolutely.
But that's not the
But
conversation.
it's not. So, I mean, Teddy Bridgewater has been pretty good. He's been very accurate, consistent, hasn't really had to take a lot of shots downfield. I could see a few dump offs. I would assume at least 15 touches. At least 15 touches for him.
Okay. So here's the problem, though, of playing Latavius Murray at $700 because we have Peterson, who we just talked about.
Yeah.
Carlos Hyde is super cheap.
Hyde's
this
right
week,
in that range.
and I would prefer Hyde over Murray just objectively anyway.
Me too.
Now, the guys that are likely out for Sunday at running back, Darren Sproles appears like he's not going to play. Corey Clement is officially out. We also have, who else here? Jalen Samuels is out. Corey Clement's actually on IR.
Yeah, he's finished.
We can talk about the Eags here in a second. Todd Gurley, doubtful to play.
Yeah. Yikes.
I moved Malcolm Brown up to 13, 14 in the rankings. That puts him a spot behind Kerryon Johnson against the Packers and a spot ahead of where Fantasy Pros rank Mark Ingram, but I don't rank Mark Ingram. But so for me, one spot ahead of Austin Eckler.
Yeah.
In the Sunday night game against the Steelers. Do you think this turns into a split with Darrell Henderson?
I don't know if I don't think it turns into a split because this guy hasn't even really touched the field at all. And I'm sure he's going to start, but I was interested in him heading into the year. McVay, he gets his guy. Obviously, there's some Gurley concerns, but he didn't look good at all in the preseason.
Like he's a girly man?
Yeah.
That was the concerns about him?
I mean, there's a lot of concerns about him. I think that's one of them for sure, but he just hasn't touched the field. And he's had, it's not like Gurley's been efficient, right? And it just, or especially early on in the year, it was Brown. So I think it'll be probably
70,
confidence. 30? I was going to say 75, 70, 30, 75%.
Who would you project to have more touches, Malcolm Brown or Latavius Murray?
I think Latavius Murray.
I think Brown would get more.
I think they're just going to continue to throw the ball a ton.
Maybe. I still haven't seen word on Brandon Cooks, whether he passed protocol or not. He's been practicing, so I assume he's going to play.
Yeah.
But I didn't see any official word that he passed concussion protocol.
I think he'll play, but you just look at the last couple weeks. I mean, Goff has thrown the ball over 100 times. I know that one game against Tampa Bay, the defense was awful, and he had to. I think it was like 60-something pass attempts, but almost 50 last week. Again, this is a team that's just not having a lot of success running the football, and they're a play-action team. They're just not getting any of that, and I just don't think they're going to get that with Malcolm Brown. Brown doesn't seem like a guy that's going to catch 5 or 6 balls in that offense.
Yeah, but if he's on the field, he could backdoor his way into a few.
And it's the Rams offense. I mean, they've lost 2 straight against the Niners. You figure that they'll score some points this week and he falls in the end zone. I think Latavius probably has more touches, but there's more value in the Brown touches than, and that's why, I agree with your ranking. He should be higher.
Okay, so
I think I'd play carry on over him though.
I would. I have carry on.
Okay, you just well,
I have him ahead of Eckler just because.
Yeah.
They're now talking. It worked so well last week. We need to give Melvin Gordon more touches. The only efficient guy on your offense is Austin Eckler. It's like, let's take him off the field. He's no good.
He may just be better.
I think he is better.
Yeah, he may just be better than Melvin Gordon. And it's not saying anything negatively to Melvin Gordon. It's just Austin Eckler's been really good this season.
And if Eckler's going to be, I have Eckler ranked above Melvin Gordon. I don't really care about Melvin Gordon getting more snaps. That offensive line now not only down Okun, down Pouncey as well. Where are they running? Nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what you saw. And a lot of it was garbage time. But Eckler, what 15 catches last week? 14, 15 catches.
Yeah, and he had 7 in the first half. Yeah. But they were playing garbage time basically from the first quarter.
Yeah, I expect Keenan Allen to be a little bit more involved this week, but
you'd hope so.
Eckler is still gonna. Yeah, there was a game last year against the Steelers. I'm sure the Steelers are looking at the tape, but do you remember?
They covered him with a linebacker.
Yeah, it was 17 targets, 15 catches.
Well, it's funny because Hunter Henry is trending towards playing this week. I don't know how he's playing with the injury that he had, which puts everyone else on IR and they're out for a year. He's back. Were they like, hey, Hunter, come here. Here's some steroids for your legs. You're good.
Maybe. I mean, a fractured kneecap just a couple weeks ago. I don't know if I would trust him.
They said he's going to play on a limited basis, but just to have him back out on the field, it's like, whoa, that's crazy.
Maybe some red zone work again, which is not good for Melvin Gordon.
I think Mike Williams scores a touchdown this week.
It's possible.
He's that guy. When you look at who should regress based on the opportunity that they've had. Yeah. He's that guy this week.
Yeah, he's that guy. Yeah, I mean, he's a big red zone target for Phillip Rivers, so it's a pretty good call.
Let's go to receiver then. So receivers, we got likely in Brandon Cooks. Hollywood Brown's a true game time decision. I have him listed as in right now, but that could definitely go either way.
He's just been dealing with this all year.
It's an early game, so you're gonna know, so I might as well just leave him in, I guess. Yeah. Would you prefer Boykin or Snead?
I think Snead.
Boykin's 3,500 on DraftKings. Snead's 55.
Yeah, and that's pretty expensive.
It is. Snead. It's too expensive for Snead.
Wow, yeah.
But Boykin becomes
Sure. From a tournament standpoint, DFS, DraftKings, this is what we're here. We're talking DraftKings. Yeah, Boykin. But from a season long,
Neither?
neither. But if there's no Brown, I think you could play Snead. It's possible. I mean, the Bengals are brutal. They're awful.
I have Demir Bird is in, Tyreek Hill is in, Albert Wilson and Jakeem Grant is in. Danny Amendola practiced on a limited basis on Friday. He looks like he's going to be in. Christian Kirk's a game time decision as well.
Looks like he could play.
Let's scale back to him here in a second. Marquez Valdez-Scantling in the Monday Nighter is like iffy.
Yeah.
He'll probably play, but it's not great news. I bumped him way down in the rankings because you're not going to have the opportunity to adjust. He's the last guy to play.
Exactly.
And Randall Cobb has the back issue against the Jets this week. But Kirk, it's again a later set of games. Do you hold out? Like, do you just have one of the other? Maybe you have a better option or have an equivalent option that you don't feel badly going to after the first set of games is over, or do you just pick up one of these random Demir Birds or Keyshawn Johnson or Trent Sherfield, and then if Kirk plays, just roll him out?
Yeah, I think you have Keyshawn ready to go. I think that's fair. I mean, he's getting a lot of targets, just not doing a ton with them. But
no one is.
No, that's the thing. Like, nobody is. I mean, Kyler's starting to use his legs a little bit. He had 90 rushing yards in the ground, but everything that I've seen about Kirk, I got the practice in Thursday, got the practice in today, looks like he's trending up. So that's positive. But yeah, if you're a Kirk owner, I think you definitely need to have somebody on standby. And I think Keyshawn is, or Kara, I think that he's a decent plug and play. I mean, it's could be a high total. The Falcons can't tackle anybody. They still are going at a high pace. There's just really nobody else in this offense to throw the ball to. I think even if DJ plays, Chase Edmonds I think he's earned himself just a few more touches.
Yeah, but again, we enter the problem is if we have Malcolm Brown at $4,300, we have Latavius Murray at 37, Peterson and Hyde and Drake and all these guys.
Yeah.
Why would you play a backup running back?
No, you wouldn't. But I just mean, like, in general, like,
in seasonal.
in seasonal. Like, I'm not saying to even play him. I'm just saying he could catch a few more balls, because I've noticed over the past couple weeks he's getting down and he's getting on the field in third down rolls. It's not like the DJ of old, which has, back in the day, he was on the field for every single snap.
You're right about that. Like, I went and picked up Chase Edmonds in a bunch of spots.
Yeah.
Solely if DJ is not playing, I'm definitely going to play Chase Edmonds.
Definitely going to play him.
But it appears like we're not going to know that. And that David Johnson is going to play. Yeah. Christian Kirk's $5,200 on DraftKings. No one's really going to use him because we're not going to know.
Yeah.
This is where I think taking advantage of a late swap comes in. If Kirk is ready to go, he becomes a primo late swap target. If people don't know really kind of the strategy behind the late swaps right now, like, if you're way behind and you're not doing well in your contests, just rolling out the guys that you have who everyone else owns isn't going to do anything. Like, if you're already losing and you're probably going to win $0 this week, he's a special type of guy because he has that huge upside. And no one's going to use him. Like, he's the perfect guy to late swap onto. So I'd pay attention to that at like 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like, when the actives and inactives come out, he might be a total flame out. I'm not saying that if Christian Kirk plays, he's definitely going to have a good game.
Right.
But it's a fantastic spot for one thing.
It's an amazing spot. It's an amazing spot. You got the Q next to his name. So yeah, you pay attention. People automatically just kind of skim through those guys, I feel like, with the questionable tag. And the air yards are there with him. He's the deep threat guy. Like, Larry Fitzgerald is that safe cash game guy. And Kirk is that tournament winning. He has the tournament winning upside. So yeah, absolutely. If he plays in this match, I think this could be a sneaky game. And maybe it's not sneaky. Maybe everybody else is on
everyone's
Falcons
kind
and
of
Cardinals too. But people should be, because both defenses are very, very bad. And it's gonna be a high-paced game. Both quarterbacks rank in the top 5 in passing attempts. Matt Ryan #1. Kyler's right there as well. So yeah, roll them out.
So the guys that are likely out at receiver: Sammy Watkins, likely not going to play. Same as Devontae Adams. Good news for our team. Our
thanks
top
for coming in.
Our top 2. We have to lose this week.
Yeah, we have to. I'm also like in a rough spot like that in another league too, with just some injuries and buys. Like, it is what it is. There's nothing to do. The league's so competitive that there's nobody that we want to drop to hurt ourselves moving forward. And who are we picking up? Like, we're not even available to pick up, like Brown and Edmonds. Like, these guys are already
gone. Yeah, 14-person league, 4-person bench. Like, our bench consists now of Evan Ingram, Sammy Watkins, Devontae Adams, and like someone else we need who's on.
Yeah.
It's a running back, David Montgomery.
Well, don't we have T.Y. Hilton? Isn't he?
Oh yeah, T.Y. Hilton. Yeah.
So it's like,
but we also have 3 other hurt guys.
What can
We're
you
throwing
do?
in the towel on the week.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It sucks.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Kirk Cousins will throw 7 touchdowns or something.
Who we had to pick up.
Yeah, exactly. So we had Josh Allen, whose schedule, by the way, gets really, really
Oh, yeah.
nice. Yeah, like,
And he's already been good.
yeah, and he already has been good. I think he's got Miami twice in the next few games, the Eagles, the Jets. Yeah.
It's just, I never want to, I don't think I've ever actually been forced into a week where it's just like we're giving up.
Yeah.
Like we have to roster guys that are either hurt or
Yeah.
on bye week because if we make the moves, like our team's fucked for the rest of the year.
Exactly.
Like I like our team.
I do too.
Just not this week.
No, there's no point in doing that. And I had a question last week, and somebody wanted to make some adjustments. I think it was like trading Julio for 2 average backs this week. It's like, no, don't do it. Take the L. You're sitting here in a pretty good spot.
Like if we were 0-5, it would be one thing, but I think we're 3-2. Like
yeah, so
we're in the mix,
we're
and
there.
our team is good enough. I feel like our team is good enough to win us games down the line.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because if it's not, we weren't making the playoffs anyway by dropping all of our good
No,
players
yeah, there's
just
no
for a
point.
shot this week. Because we're already under.
There's probably a few people like that, especially this week, right? With the 4 teams on bye and all these major injuries.
well, very few. I think that very few people play in a league that has so few bench spots.
Yeah, that's the one problem with that league. There's just no bench spots. It's tough to drop anyone. We hadn't made any moves in the first few weeks of the season.
No, because we dropped Drake at one point because we needed someone to fill in.
Yeah,
I think we
that's
picked up
it.
Hardman.
Yeah, I think maybe we have Westbrook on that team. I don't know.
We do. We drafted Westbrook. Though.
Yeah, but we've just been like holding on even through like he's been decent lately, but there's a couple of bad games where maybe we could have moved on from him, but there's just nothing out there.
Yeah, with so many
Better
teams,
off
it's so
holding off. I
barren.
actually like him this week.
So do I.
Yeah.
Let's see. Kenny Stills is a game time decision. He may or may not play, but that's an interesting piece of that game if he goes. I don't think I would play him, but
No.
it's
I
interesting.
think it's good news for QT if he doesn't play.
But Duke Johnson was playing a lot of those
He was
snaps
playing a lot
too.
of
That
those
like
snaps.
I worry that the upside is capped for him. Alex Erickson out. Philip Dorsett obviously didn't play last night. Rashard Higgins with his knee issue, and Deshaun Jackson has actually been downgraded to officially out.
Yeah.
With his groin. Let's scale back and talk about the Chiefs for a second. So no Sammy Watkins. I'd say it's probably like 60-40 Tyreek Hill ends up playing.
Yeah.
But it does appear like Demarcus Robinson's going to have his role in this offense anyway. Pringle is going to be the one stepping in for Watkins, and Hardman is kind of the Tyreek Hill replacement. Now, if that may not come to fruition as it all pans out, maybe Hardman takes over the Sammy Watkins role, but he seems perfectly designed to be the guy to sub in for Tyreek Hill. Byron Pringle is $3,500 on DraftKings. There's no Sammy Watkins. This game's projected to score 55 points. He's going to be what? 30%? He should be 30% owned.
He should be. Yeah, you got to get a piece of this offense. It's the same reason I think you like Carlos Hyde a little bit, right? Get a piece of this offense or this game in general. It's game stack it if you can. And what I noticed in last week with the snaps, I mean, you're right. Robinson's role seems locked in. He basically playing all of the snaps. And last week, Pringle was playing more than Hardman. So Hardman's taken that step back. And now with Tyreek Hill coming back, I mean, Hardman is just like, what are you really expecting from him? He's probably just a couple little gadget plays. That Andy
Couple
Reid
deep
has.
shots.
Yeah, a couple deep shots, and sure, fine. I mean, if you want to go that way, and this guy's playing 25% of the snaps and take a shot on him, I'd rather. Seeing what I saw last week from Pringle, I mean, he just kind of came out of nowhere. But Andy Reid he's a great play caller. He's a great play designer. So I would actually play Robinson. I think he's a sneaky play. Kelsey, I love. I think all the attention is going to go to Kelsey and Hill. I think Robinson. Maybe less attention on him this week.
And there'll be less attention on Pringle as well. But
Yeah.
like if you had to start one in your season-long league, would it be Robinson or would it be Pringle?
I would be Robinson.
I'm really torn on that.
Yeah,
Like,
I know it is.
On
It's
DraftKings, it's definitely Pringle because of the price.
100%.
But getting DeMarcus Robinson into those game stacks, if you're doing it, he is the low-owned piece. Like,
Yes.
And weirdly, Kelsey is the low-owned piece.
Yeah, and there's a huge drop off between him and the next price guy in terms of tight ends.
Oh, yeah. When we get to the DraftKings ownership a little bit later on, like, you'll see who everyone's owning this week.
Yeah.
It's 3 guys.
Yeah. And because there's just nothing at the tight end position to spend down on, I feel like this week.
Sprinkle.
Yeah, I tried that last week.
It's okay. We're in a better spot this week.
We are in a better spot this week. Absolutely. What is he? $2,500.
2,600.
26.
You got bumped up.
My goodness. Yeah. Speaking of bumped up, Will Fuller, did he ever get bumped up? He went for like 45 to 6.
I'm curious if anyone's going to own him now.
Yeah, I know.
I think
He's almost like the contrarian now because everyone's like, no, I'm not going to play him. He's not going to do that again. But
he might.
Yeah.
It's a perfect spot for him to
great spot
do
for
that.
him.
I guess the issue would be that so many people are game stacking that game in particular that they're just going to be grabbing pieces of,
Yeah.
and Will Fuller will be one of those
Yeah,
pieces.
he'll be
It's
on.
even like someone like Darren Fells.
Yeah.
Like people will use him because he's cheap.
I mean,
and-
if you score a touchdown, you're finishing as a top 5 tight end.
yeah,
Right? He's done that a couple times. He had one game with 2 catches, 2 touchdowns.
it's weird.
It's super weird.
Watch
All of a
be
sudden,
an
they have like
At-
7 tight ends.
It'll be
now.
an Atkins
He
week.
scored a touchdown one game too. I think they both found the end zone in the same game.
Tight ends. I'll write that down. Tight ends this week that are likely, are likely in. Vance McDonald. Hawkinson looks like he's going to play.
Yeah, it
like I said,
does.
Hunter Henry looks like he's going to play. I don't have any interest in playing either one of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
The only big one is George Kittle popped up with a groin injury on Friday. He's likely to play, but something to monitor.
Yeah,
I like the Rams in that game.
me too. It's hard to imagine them losing 3 straight games. I have a lot of respect for what San Fran has been doing lately. I didn't fully believe, I'll be honest, I didn't, but Kyle Juszczyk, that guy is gone, and I think that's a big blow to what they want to do.
Well, here's look, because so much is predicated on their running game. So I think you can think about this 2 separate ways. One, they've rarely been down in any game this year, and the Rams do have an offense that if they were to jump out 10-0, something like that, the Niners just want to run the ball. They're very good at running the ball, and that's how they controlled the pace of this game. Their rate is averaging like 8 yards a carry.
I know, it's
so if
wild.
you throw Jimmy G into a situation, hence why I like the Rams defense a little bit, that Jimmy G under pressure, I don't know how good he's going to be.
Right, and he's had a lot of picks. He's thrown a few picks, even dating back to last year before he got hurt. He was throwing some picks. We just haven't seen him throw the ball a ton yet. So you're right. And I mean, I'm sure. And after Kittle, like he hasn't even been thrown to anybody, right? Like
He throws to Dante
Pettis
Pettis.
has like 1 or 2 targets.
Yeah,
a
but
game.
Pettis just drops the ball.
Pettis
every time.
drops the ball. I mean, yeah, on that slant, he should have had a touchdown.
Goodwin gets like 3 targets a game. Like there's
Yeah,
no one else you really
Tebow.
want to play, but they're also down. Their left tackle, Joe Staley's out.
Yeah.
Mike McGlinty is now out. The right tackle, like their
Yeah.
offensive line is beat up.
It is
and
beat up.
you lose Jurgajek.
Yeah.
And then the blocking is a bit more difficult too.
And he's been so impressive. Like he created so many holes against the Browns last week.
so he's,
And-
according to Booger McFarland, he's the MVP of the 49ers.
yeah, booger. That guy's funny. Yeah, he's just creating so many holes, and for guys like Tevin Coleman and Breida, to your point with the yards per carry. So yeah, it'll be interesting. I like both defenses actually in that game. I have a lot of respect for the Niners. They're dialing up some pressure. I mean, week 1 we laughed. It's like, yeah, they had more picks in week 1 than they did all of last season, but they have some guys, man. I mean, Bosa looks really, really strong, and I think they're double-digit sacks. They're top 5 in every other category, and they've had a bye week. And if they don't run the ball well. And I don't think they will with Brown. I don't think that they will. And Goff's going to throw the ball a ton. So I think you can dial up both defenses.
I think that people are sort of on the 49ers
Yeah,
defense.
but they're super cheap on DK.
They are. It just feels like no one's on the Rams defense.
Yeah,
Like
because of just how bad they've been in general. I
Yeah.
think.
But they down 2 offensive linemen and a
Yeah.
fullback who does a lot of pass blocking for you as well.
Yeah.
Aaron Donald still plays on that other defense. He
Absolutely.
can wreak some
Yeah,
havoc. And
for sure.
And if Jimmy G has to pass 35, 40 times, then it could be
And
pick,
I think he will. I think he will have
then it
to.
could be pick city. That's just it's more expensive than some of the defenses that a lot of people are targeting on DraftKings.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's one. It was like last week. We finished recording here on Sunday morning. Paul, Gary, and I are driving up to where we watch the games.
Yeah.
I look at Gary. I'm just like, why didn't any of us play the Eagles defense? Like it makes way too much sense.
I
And then just like immediately pick 6. Like,
Yeah.
oh God,
I know.
here we go.
And as an Eagles guy, I had no exposure to them either. I grabbed them in a couple season-long formats in a pinch, and I didn't even think about them.
Neither
on
did I.
DFS. Like, I don't even know why. It was a big mess up. It really was, because and you know, it was sitting there right for us. I mean, Luke Falk hadn't even ran any reps with the offense all week. Everyone just assumed Sam Darnold was going to come back, and when they announced it was going to be Luke Falk, it was
We all kind of forgot about
just
it.
kind of forgot about it, and he couldn't do absolutely anything. I mean, there was a play where they
Took the ball from him.
stole it from
That's
him.
mine now.
That's
See
mine.
ya.
Thanks. Yeah, and ran on the sidelines and ran it in. So yeah, big mess up there for sure.
More tight ends. Chris Herndon's not going to return this week. He hurt his hamstring.
Running routes at practice. He was the most picked up tight end
He should have been.
this week. Yeah, he should have been. He should have already been stashed and owned. So it is frustrating. I mean, the second most picked up guy is Gerald Everett. I mean, to your point about Cooks, like I think he's going to be involved anyways. But if there's no Cooks,
We'll get to Everett here in a second.
yeah.
once
But
we
those
talk
are
about
the two
ownership.
guys. But I think the offense rolls a little bit. You would have to. say that anyways, right? The offense is going to roll better with Sam Darnold. It will.
Let's see. The Irish assassin, James O'Shaughnessy, placed on injured reserve. He gone.
Yeah.
So Jeff Swaim, next man up
Yep.
in Jacksonville. Ben Watson cut by the Patriots. Vernon Davis and Jordan Reed out once again, officially out. Mason Rudolph also ruled out.
Yeah. Man, that was ugly.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
Oh
I can't believe there was like, based on how we saw it in real time, we thought he was dead.
Yep.
And then they undid his face mask. Then he walked off the field looking like he was a 1930s football player. Just minus the leather helmet. Although, I mean, at that point, leather helmet, he probably would have been dead. But like, and then there was talk on Wednesday. It's like, oh, he's probably going to play. It's like, what are you talking about?
Why? Like, if you're Pittsburgh too, like, take a step back for a minute. Like, that was a nasty hit. That guy was out cold before he hit the ground, and he landed very hard. I thought he was done. I thought he was absolutely like never ever put on a football jersey again. Like, he's absolutely done. So surprising to hear that he was potentially possibly going to play this week. Maybe what is it, Dalvin Hodges? Maybe he's better. I don't know.
That was the big question that I had, because no one really knows. Is Mason Rudolph didn't look very good?
No, I mean they changed the offense completely to just use the backs, right? They didn't really trust him taking too many shots downfield.
Well, Hodges can run.
And it was a very small sample size, but he looked okay. It looked like he was just, hey, I have this guy named Juju Smith-Schuster.
I'll throw to him.
I'm going to throw to him. And that's smart. Like, lean on him. We weren't seeing that with the other guy.
I did downgrade Juju a little bit in the rankings.
Yeah,
I
probably should.
I think I have him number 20.
Yeah.
Like, he's a play, but
yeah, he's not a wide receiver one anymore, no matter what.
maybe he can emerge. Maybe Hodges
conversation.
is good enough to make him that. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
I don't know. So
Yeah.
this is what we're gonna do with it.
They're basically down to their fourth string, right? Because they made the trade.
Oh yeah, Hobbs,
So, yeah,
Dodds, Joshua Dobbs.
Yeah,
He's in Jacksonville now.
Yeah, so
Bad trade.
Probably could have used him.
He's not very good. So
No, he's
all
not.
right.
But yeah, that was a nasty hit from Rudolph.
Like, would you play Deontay Johnson now? Like, only in a pin? Like, would you play him or like Albert Wilson if you had to go pick someone up? Who looks?
I
like
would
he's gonna
probably
return?
play Johnson just because we just haven't seen. Like, I'm with you. I like Albert Wilson as well, but I mean, week 1 he was dealing with this calf injury and he forced himself to play.
Now he's
he
been
was
out
off.
since.
Now he's been out, but like, who knows? Like, how many snaps this guy's going to play, and if he aggravates, I just don't want to waste. At least Johnson is getting some targets.
All right,
and
would
we've
you play
seen it
someone
now.
like Preston Williams or Johnson?
I would play Preston Williams.
Okay.
Yeah. What is it? 12 and 7. I think he's got nearly 20 targets in the 2 games. It's Josh Rosen. It's a good matchup. It's decent.
It is.
Volume. It's okay. It's not great, but as a flex guy,
But now I just worry that all of a sudden Albert Wilson comes
Takes
back.
them all.
It takes them all, but takes enough that
he should.
Rosen's not like he's getting like 20 targets in 2 games, whatever it might be. He's still doing nothing with them.
Right. Yeah.
So now you give him less of a market share, and then all of a sudden he's doing even less.
the safer play, and maybe it's not this week. Maybe next week we're talking about Albert Wilson being the safer guy. But yeah, I mean, in a full point PPR league, as the guy playing in the slot, sure.
Would you play like Robbie Anderson or like with Darnold back? I think Robinson and Crowder are now playable again.
Yeah, I think Robbie I would play. I think he has a tough matchup this week.
Then play Jameson then.
Yeah, Crowder I would 100% play. I like him more than Robbie this week just because of that tough matchup. And I don't know if he's going to get 14 catches again. Like,
But he
did
could have
week 1,
7.
But he could easily have 7. But going forward, I think a lot of these guys are good buy lows, like a 2-quarterback league, Darnold, whatever. You're not starting him in a 10-team, 12-team. But Robbie Anderson, I think now is probably the time to go get him. The schedule gets pretty easy for the Jets too over the next couple weeks.
yeah.
Next week it's New England, but after that it gets easy.
Did you happen to hear Cust on the show this week when he ran through the schedule?
He
said
say
if-
like undefeated the rest of the
Well,
way.
no, he said if they beat the Cowboys this week, they'll probably make the playoffs.
I mean, the AFC is trash. The Bills are already locked in one of the wild card spots. So I guess one's up for grabs, but no, Cuss.
Well, he was
No.
just like, well, they play like if they
For one, they're not going to beat the Cowboys this week.
I don't think so either.
They're not beating the Cowboys. This week.
There is so much money on the Jets this week. It's pushed the line down.
I know. What is it? It was a 9.5. It opened, right?
It was 9.5. Then Darnold got an ass and went to
And then it went to
8.5, and now it's 7.
Yeah.
People,
I think the Cowboys are going to realize that they have a guy named Ezekiel Elliott that they just paid a bunch of money to. Like, let's give him the football, right?
I like Zeke on. See, that's. I guess. Is there anything else injury wise we need to talk about? No. Okay. So DK's strategy for the week at running back. This is really interesting because, like I mentioned, that there's a whole bunch of these guys that you can go own, and this is where you can save your money. Like if you take Pringle, He's 3,500. Or if Hollywood Brown doesn't play, you could take Boykin. That sort of guy. Jamison Crowder we just talked about.
Yeah.
But all the best plays this week are all like $4,000.
I know.
Like they're not the best plays, obviously. They're the plays that like, oh, that guy should be 5,200, not 3,900. So I'll play him because there's a lot of value there. But look at some of these guys right now in the $4,000 range at running back. We have Jordan Howard. So it's just him and Sanders left.
Yeah.
Bad matchup.
Yeah.
But Sanders is even cheaper.
Yeah.
Like, do you have any love for either of those guys?
Not a ton. I think Sanders maybe more in a tournament because I feel like, well, nobody will be on him. And it's been 3 games in a row now where he's had the wheel right and the wheel route. They've ran it for him, and he had one in for a touchdown, got called back. The other one was a big play for him. So he's had 3 or 4 games in a row with a big play. Like, they're not completely phasing him out of the offense, even though Jordan Howard is the goal line back there. Sanders is still getting some touches, and I think they may have to throw the football more than they want to this week against Minnesota.
Just because I think that Minnesota, both run defenses in this game are really
strong.
good. Yeah. Delvin Cook's also a really like interesting contrarian play because of that.
Yeah,
because people aren't using him. They're like, oh, they're so scared of Philly, but he had like 7 catches last week.
Exactly, and he's probably going to do that too. The Eagles do have a solid run defense, and I'm hearing a lot recently is that they haven't played anyone good. Fair, but last year they were top 5 as well, and they played Zeke twice a year. Like they went up against really good. They've had a solid run defense for ever since Jim Schwartz has been there. But you can throw on them, and they struggle against backs who can catch. So look at Dalvin; he's probably going to catch 6 or 7 balls. Look at the game that he had against the Bears; probably very similar.
Might have to when I always give out my props on the show on Sunday morning.
Yeah, check his catch.
I'm just going to write that one down. Delvin Cook. I don't know what it is right now, but I'll say over catches. Investigate that.
I would say
I also had Mike Williams. Anytime touchdown.
I would say Dalvin Cook probably catches 6 balls in this matchup this week. I might
even
even look at Aaron Jones. When Aaron Jones was struggling against the run, he caught a few balls.
Would you, if they set the line, let's say Dalvin Cook over under 4.5 receptions and Miles Sanders over 2.5 receptions?
I would take the over on both of them.
But which one would you prefer?
Probably Cook, but
I think Sanders is definitely going to get the ball.
Those 3 catches are pretty easy. Like I said, he's been targeted a couple times every game now.
So Howard 49, then you have Chase Edmonds at 46, who turns into a free square if all of a sudden
he would. I think he's the one I like the most out of all these guys we're talking
if Johnson
about.
Doesn't play.
Wasn't
of course,
playing.
but we don't. But it's the late game, so we're not gonna know.
Yeah, we're not.
Adrian Peterson 4,500, Royce Freeman 4,500. He's not. I'm not going to use him, but like he's viable at least.
Yeah.
Carlos Hyde $4,400, Kenyon Drake $4,400 in a pretty gravy matchup.
Yeah.
Balaj is hurt, so now they're using Mark Walton as their second stringer. Like this should be like an 80% smash spot for Kenyon Drake.
Yeah.
Tevin Coleman $4,400. Ito Smith $4,300.
Yeah.
Malcolm Brown $4,300. Miles Sanders $4,200.
This is wild. This is a wild week.
And then you have Latavius Murray at 37. And then you even like someone like Gus Edwards at 39, who Cincinnati has made 2 running backs viable almost every single week.
Every single week. Yeah. They're struggling defensively. They're missing some guys, some linebackers. They get some guys in their offensive line playing this week that have never played before.
Never played. They've
never been an offensive tackle before. Like this is like an opportunity for them to get in there and do something they've never done. Like that's how hurting that team is.
Yeah, the Bengals went to like the good graces of the league. They're like, listen, we want to work with charity. We'll take like, hey, is anyone in the Make-A-Wish Foundation just ever wanted to play an NFL game? Sickly 9-year-old, you're playing left tackle for us now. Let's go.
The name is, it doesn't even matter, but the name's slipping. Producing the Bengals podcast at The Athletic, they were just talking about all the injuries, and they said, listen, there's going to be a guy in the offensive line that has never played that role before in his life. So, I mean, that's not good news for Andy Dalton. But yeah, every single week, it seems like a running back runs all over that defense. But out of that range,
but like those are
it's very, very interesting.
Even if we trim it down to let's live in a world where Kamara doesn't play and David Johnson does play.
Yeah.
So now we have like legitimate plays that you're going to make. Latavius Murray, Miles Sanders, I do think is viable. Malcolm Brown is probably going to be the highest owned guy now.
Yeah.
Tevin Coleman, Kenyon Drake, Carlos Hyde, Adrian Peterson, and Jordan Howard. Those are 8 guys from this range you could potentially play. That means people will play at least 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 of these guys.
That wide out and Kelsey.
If you take these 3 guys and Pringle, then you can afford anyone else on the slate. So that leads me to believe that the top end is going to go completely unowned.
Yeah.
So who do you like better between Elliott and Cook?
I like Elliott, but I know I liked Elliott before all of this news, like midweek. And now I wonder what his ownership will be like.
It's going to be like nothing.
Yeah.
Because who would pay $8,500 for a running back when you can have two guys at 43? The guy for me that I'm definitely playing is Nick Chubb. $7,300. No one wants.
Yeah.
A, no one's paying up for running backs. B, he just had a bad game. How could he ever be good?
Yeah, on prime time too. Everybody saw it firsthand.
And he actually didn't even have that bad of a game.
No,
the Browns just had a bad game.
The Browns just had a bad game. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind that strategy. I like Zeke. Like I said, I liked him midweek. I feel like they just lean on him a little bit more. Dak gave that game away last week. He absolutely did. And I think they have to just change the game plan. Like, let's use Zeke again. Like, he just hasn't had that big blow-up game yet, even though he has 4 touchdowns in 5 games. Like, he's finding the end zone. He just hasn't had the 20-carry game yet. Give it to him.
He's having a season for, like, his draft position where we expect him to be a lot like Kelsey.
Yeah.
Where he's yet to have a bad game, but he hasn't had a huge game yet.
And obviously we know what his upside is. So I like him, but if you're trying to be contrarian and different with your lineup, I mean, it's Chubb and Cook, but Cook has more upside. I just think Zeke has more upside than Chubb that I would just be like, whatever, I'm just going to spend up and get him.
So people might be, now let's try to go to the second. We'll go to like
because there's a nice range of $6,000.
Well, no, here's the thing.
Too.
We got to play this like Inception.
Yeah.
Inception level 1, reality, everyone's going to play these $4,000 guys.
Yeah.
When we get to that part where they're just kind of like driving around in the van, those are the high price guys. We need to get to the hotel scene.
Yeah, let's get to the hotel.
The hotel scene is Fournette and Bell.
Yeah.
Because people are still going to play those guys.
Yeah.
And they're in great spots.
Yes.
So now let's go to the snow level in Inception. Let's go down to what we should maybe actually be doing at running back.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry and Chris Carson. $6,000. They fall into this weird spot now because of all these injuries where everything opened up at the bottom. And people will be like, oh, well, I'm not going to I'll use one of the bottom. Then I'll pay for Elliott and Cook or Bell and Fournette. And it leaves these guys completely undone.
Yes.
So Chubb for the more expensive guy, because he's only like 71. Then Henry or Carson at 61 and 6,000. Those guys are in smash spots. And just in terms of volume, and it looks like Rashad Penny is gimped up again. So great news for Carson. Carson lifted from the injury report. Penny put on the injury report.
Yeah. 55 opportunities in the last 2 games for Carson. That's like 40 some odd carries and 6 targets. Like, he's been involved. And Pete Carroll said it. We talked about it. Carroll's been open and honest with us about this. Carson had never had any fumble issues before. We're going back to him. Maybe he lucked out that Penny was sidelined. I'm sure that obviously had something to do with it. But the past 2 weeks, getting over 20 carries and over 100 yards in each of those games, caught the receiving touchdown. I thought Carson would be super chalky because what everybody saw on Monday Night Football with the San Francisco 49ers running all over the Cleveland Browns, I thought, okay, Carson's just going to be super chalk here. But now with all of these injuries popping up and these low-priced guys, I don't feel like he will be. I love Chris Carson this week. I think he's a top 5 back.
I like Derrick Henry as well.
And it's the same thing.
The
offense runs through him.
You can run all over Denver.
All over him. And Fournette had like 200-something yards against them earlier.
Yeah,
Nobody's allowed more rushing touchdowns
But Melvin Gordon had a bad week, so now Denver's defense has figured it out. Now, come on.
No chance.
Give your head a shake on that one.
I mean, Gordon he hadn't run in months.
Yeah, but let's give him the ball over and over.
Yeah.
Savvy moves.
Chargers, man, like, I can't imagine Feinberg.
He's like a defeated man
now. Yeah,
he's in Vegas. He just took a flight to Vegas. He said someone recognized him on the plane. Probably the happiest moment of his life.
I saw his live Periscope the other day, and I was feeling for him. I think it was the day after the football game, and he just looked like he'd rolled out of bed like the worst hangover of life. Like, yeah, guys. One guy says, Feinberg, you don't look too well. No shit, bud. No shit, I don't look well. But yeah, Carson, to me, I think he's. And same thing, like, we know what Tennessee wants to do, right? They want to run with Derrick Henry. He's just guaranteed touches.
We'll get to the spreads just in a second. I've already hit my super lock for the week, so feeling pretty good about the week.
I was on that too. And I was pretty worried about that last night.
I was, but when we broke down the game, I was like, well, the defense is going to score at some point.
And they did a couple times.
They scored twice.
Yeah, a couple times. I tweeted out today. I mean, only McCaffrey has more. Like, there's like 4 backs with more points than the Patriots defense, but only McCaffrey is the only skilled player.
Yeah,
and they have more fantasy points as a defense this year than 25 defenses had all of last season. Like, and almost to the point where what the Patriots had last year. This is like an historic, unbelievable thing.
Yeah, but draft the Bears in the 7th round.
You're right. I mean, every year somebody does something like this so silly, and I love it when I'm in drafts and somebody takes a defense. Like, next year, the Pats will be like
5th round pick,
5th round, 6th round pick. This morning on ESPN, I'm not going to call anybody out, But they were talking about trading like Pat's defense for like Mike Evans or like.
I would make that trade. Yes, I would take Mike Evans in that deal.
Thank you. Yeah, please.
Is there like an objection to that?
No, they wanted the Pats defense.
Good. Then listen, if you have Pat's D and you can get like a legitimate player in return.
I think hearing that from some big people, I think you need, if you have the Pats D and you're listening, you probably just need to see if you can get something for them.
DeAndre Hopkins, he had 3 bad games. Here's Pat's D. They're the best.
Buddy, they were like saying they would basically trade anybody for the Pats D because they're legit and the schedule
sets up. Yeah, it's still a defense though.
Exactly, it's still a defense. So,
and if they're just and we say this all the time, just because they've been scoring these touchdowns, which are sort of an anomaly, like just because you block a punt doesn't mean you fall into the end zone.
Yeah.
And this isn't to say that they necessarily won't be the number 1 fantasy defense the rest of the way, but you can either take a receiver who has a projectable floor, a projectable ceiling, or a defense who's just a scatter shot across the board.
Exactly.
Like if you don't,
just total randomness.
Like even last night against the Giants, like Hilliman fumbles. If the guy just falls on the ball, then there's no touchdown. But the Van comes by and picks it up and dives into the end zone and he's in. Now, it's great that they're doing all this, but to think they're going to like score a touchdown a game is stupid.
No, it's ridiculous. Yeah, it's ludicrous. I was sick to my stomach listening.
No, I like to hear that though. That's great news. That means people will do that.
That's what I mean. Like people will for sure. So that's what I mean. Like if you have the Pats D, see what you can get. If you can get a Mike Evans who put up a 0 last week, go do it.
I would. You know what? If
I would almost trade up. Like if there's like a good 30 wideouts, I would trade for.
If someone like, I mean, you can always kind of do this too. Like, I mean, you do the Fantasy Footballers podcast. So if like the footballers say anything or like the ESPN guys say anything, people will listen. Like people listen. So many people listen to those shows.
Let's check in Monday morning.
The shitty thing is like it's not like. It's not like the footballers that they're giving like objectively bad advice.
Right. No.
If they would, if put it this way, if we swapped roles and I had the listenership of the footballers, people like would be a disaster. You can make the worst trades with anyone with my terrible advice. But they give out good advice. So it's tougher.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they're on top of things. But I mean,
we need to pay off Mike.
Yeah.
Like, listen, Mike, just start giving out terrible advice here. And like, see, you don't even have to believe it. Just tell people to trade this guy for this guy. I guess fortunately ESPN covers the bases for us.
Fortunately.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
DK ownership for the week. If you go to fansharesports.com, you can find all of the up-to-date projected ownerships, and you can get a discount by using the promo code PME at checkout. I highly recommend you go do it. If you're serious about playing on DraftKings and playing DFS football, it is a very valuable resource just to find these little tweaks of leverage spots. Yeah. Or just to say, hey, I didn't realize this guy was going to be 40% owned.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll fade him. The Eifert thing from last week.
Right. Yeah. No, it's a fantastic tool. Just having that, I mean, having all the knowledge that you can get.
Yeah, more information isn't going to hurt you.
Yeah, no, it's not going to hurt you.
So quarterback. I kept these to myself this week.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Okay.
Yeah, so we can play a bit of a guessing game here. And I'll have these up on an article on DK Playbook later on because people got mad that I don't go through everything anymore. But like, hey, use the promo code PME.
Exactly.
Come on. Now that it's behind a paywall, I can't just give it away. And it's not my company.
Yeah.
They allow me to talk about a few of them.
Yeah.
There's some hype.
Yeah.
But, I don't want to give away their product. That's not fair.
Yeah. No, it's not.
And they're doing the hard work, not me.
Yeah.
Quarterback. Who do you think the projected top 3 quarterbacks are going to be this week on DraftKings and ownership?
Watson,
number 1.
Watson, number 1. Cousins?
No.
Wow. Okay. Mahomes?
No.
Matt
Ryan, number 2.
And Kyler?
Lamar.
Yeah, Lamar.
I like Kyler a lot this week.
like Kyler too.
I really like Mahomes because everyone's just using Watson in that game.
And there's a big gap there in price too. Absolutely. I don't think people really spend up at the quarterback position in tournaments. So
and they probably like over the years it hasn't been a great idea, but Mahomes is such a special talent it's the gap is actually working in your favor because of the pricing. And we just talked about like 20 cheap guys you can play.
Exactly. And Tyreek Hill most likely coming back. The 2 bad games in a row.
And he's dealing with the ankle injury.
The offensive line is trash.
Yeah.
They're not going to have a lot of success running the football. You're probably going to throw a little bit more.
Listen, if it was a cash game, I wouldn't pay up for Patrick Mahomes.
I wouldn't either.
But in a tournament, if you can get him the highest is Watson coming at 15%. That's not a reason to fade him by any means. Play Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic play.
Sure.
But if Watson comes in at like 6-7%, you're like, ooh.
Yeah.
No one's using Patrick Mahomes. I'll use Patrick Mahomes. That sounds fine to me.
Yeah, I like Mahomes a lot Matt said that on the footballer show that you just alluded to. Yeah, the price makes them appealing in tournaments to me. I like the gap, and I wouldn't do it in cash. I agree with you. You just don't get a good balance. So
No, you use like Kirk Cousins in cash.
yeah, I was surprised that Kirk Cousins wouldn't be at the top though. It's such a nice matchup. He's at a very nice price.
People hate Kirk Cousins.
They really do, don't
They
they?
hate his guts.
Yeah, Zach Brown, who's with the Eagles, was with Kirk Cousins before in the past, and he had called him out this morning and said the worst part of the Vikings is Kirk Cousins. I don't know if it's bulletin board material or not, but
How about
the
Case
reason that they
Keenum?
suck.
5K.
I mean, you can go him and McLaurin.
Yeah.
It's not a bad little combo.
McLaurin, someone who's coming like wildly underowned. I love McLaurin at $6,000.
Me too, because we saw his floor game last year in a very tough matchup last week against the Pats.
And
He still had
Xavier
50
Howard's
yards and-
banged up too.
Yeah, and he hasn't been the same this year.
No, I think he's not trying as hard.
Yeah, I would see that.
Would
It's a
you?
pretty good assumption. Yeah, it's a pretty good assumption.
Please trade me.
Either of those guys, you know, I surprised Minshew too. Like a lot of people
No,
seem to like Minshew.
fuck Minshew.
A lot of people like Jake wouldn't shut up
Who
about
does?
Minshew.
But here's
man.
the thing. Now we're getting into a thing of everyone objectively likes Minshew. I love Minshew. He's great.
Yeah, same.
To
But I
use him-
just thought he would be a high owned. I thought maybe, you know, he would be in the
he's
top
fourth on
3.
this list.
Okay, so he's fourth. All right. Fair enough.
Dak 6,200 against the Jets.
See, I just feel like it's going to be a big Zeke game, but that's a sneaky play too because Amari Cooper has been really good this year, and Michael Gallup in his 3 games has been really good as well.
And like there, if you don't want to use Zeke, you use Dak, Gallup, Cooper, and just
Yeah.
go boom.
And you have that, you know about
Devin
Dak, he
Smith,
can call
Devin
his-
Smith revenge game against the Jets.
Hey, maybe it's possible, but Dak always, you know, he could run one in as well. We've seen that before.
Yeah.
Use his legs.
Like, would you rather play Minshew at 5K or Keenum at 5K? I think I'd rather play Keenum.
I think I would rather play. I really like DD. Yeah, I'm fine with Keenum against Miami. Why not?
Top 3 running backs in ownership, and this is going to get
before all this news.
Yeah, it hadn't been updated. So before the Todd Gurley news and the Alvin Kamara news, these would be the top 3.
Yeah.
I expect Malcolm Brown to be the highest owned guy on the slate now,
Yeah.
or close to it. But who do you think the top 2 were? Because there's 2 guys way above everyone else.
Carson, Fournette,
No. Bell and Fournette.
Bell and Fournette.
Bell was trending around 30%.
Bell makes sense. I mean, he's down to that point now where he's almost like he's an extreme value.
And Darnold's back.
And Darnold's back, and he has 27 catches. I think that's the 3rd most among backs, and he had a bye week, and he's been playing with brutal quarterbacks.
The 3rd guy on that list whose ownership is going to just fall off the deep end because of the opportunities that have opened up, Kenyon Drake was actually 3rd.
Wow.
But no one's going to play him anymore.
Because everybody in that range,
Well,
there's other options.
Yeah, they'll just use Malcolm Brown
Yeah,
instead of Kenyon Drake
interesting.
now. So he could be sneaky to
He
go
could be
back
sneaky.
onto.
Yeah, he really could be. Because Washington's run defense has just been as bad as Miami's.
Washington's bad.
Yeah.
Miami is bad. Just
Right.
think bad.
Yeah, it's very bad. There's 2 ways the game could go. I mean, there could be 50 points. And
Or it
just,
could be
it
9.
could be 9-6. And it's like, oh my goodness, who watched this game? I really like Hyde in that range. You can run on Kansas City, and he's had a couple games of 20 carries.
And they give him the ball.
Yeah, they give him the ball with
For
running
no
in-
reason.
he gets the
He
ball
gets it.
running into. Yeah, I mean his yards per carry numbers are not good, but the fact that he gets the ball and he's probably going to get it this weekend I really like him in that range.
Wide receiver top 3. This one's pretty obvious.
Hopkins.
Hopkins number 1.
Hopkins number 1. I feel like Julio should be there, but no.
Julio number 3.
Julio number 3.
And my number 1 wide receiver of the week is number 2.
It's not Thielen.
Cooper Kupp.
Oh yeah, Cooper Kupp. Oh, that's obvious. I love Cooper Kupp. He's the man.
2 touchdowns, 1 cup.
He's he's so good. He is just so damn good. 17 targets last week, like 40 some odd in the past 3 games. He's unbelievable. He's a red zone option. Yeah, there's so much to like about Cooper Kupp. I won't fade him.
I'm not going to I'll fade the other 2. I'll probably fade Hopkins
I
and
might fade
Jones.
Julio. Yeah. I think I'm going to play Hopkins this week. I think this could be the big
I think so
the big
too,
week
but
for
like
him.
am I going to pay up for Hopkins and Cup?
I mean, you can now,
You,
right?
you can, but like if I want to pay up for, let's say,
All year I've been spending up on backs.
Me too.
All year. I usually don't like to play these guys that we're talking about, but they're in good
but
spots.
we're talking about wide receivers. Like I'll probably end up playing Pringle
Yeah.
at 35. I'll probably play Jamison Crowder at 41. I want to play Terry McLaurin at 6,000.
And then, okay. And then, I mean, you could be in a situation where you leave a few bucks off the board this week.
Yeah, but I don't want to leave too much.
So what are you going to do? Mahomes and Kelsey?
I'm thinking that.
Mahomes and Kelsey, and then even you could probably get Zeke in there if you want, or Chubb or Delvin. I mean, you could,
Yeah.
if you are going that route with
especially
with
because
the cheap plays.
there's a $1,900 defense that I love this week too.
And also, yeah, I don't love the Cowboys up at the top. I'm not spending that.
They're sort of like the Rams in a weird way, where I think they're a really good play, but I'm just not going to get up to them. And the Rams are significantly cheaper, so I can get to the Rams.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about tight ends. Top 3 tight ends.
Okay.
One guy is coming at 32% ownership, Meaney.
Is it Kelsey?
It is
Everett?
Austin Hooper.
Hooper, obviously playing Arizona. I mean, it makes a lot of sense, even if you just put Arizona aside. I mean, Austin Hooper has the most catches out of anybody on this slate. He was top 4 in catches last year. Nobody talked about him at all. It was just the big 3. I mean, Austin Hooper, and every target that goes his way, he reels in. He doesn't have a lot of drops. He runs good routes. He's really good.
Yeah. So
He
he's
is
number
really good.
1, who was 2 and 3.
Everett?
Everett's number 3.
Is it not Kelsey?
It's Kittle.
Wow, it's Kittle.
Kelsey's so much more expensive.
I'm spending up on Kelsey this
So
week.
I think there are 3 moves you make. I'm not using any of these guys. So
Yeah.
and I always lose, so you should probably use these 3 guys. But the 3 guys that I would try to turn to, Kelsey, if I can afford it.
Yeah.
Just because I know no one's really like 10%, I would say max his ownership comes in. Mark Andrews is in a great spot against the Bengals. And he's dealing with his foot injury again, but he's going to play.
Yeah.
Could be no Hollywood Brown.
Right.
Like, even if Brown sits, I'm not sure I'd want to use Miles Boykin. I just really like that price. Andrews would be the guy I would go to. And he's only 48. And the sprinkler, 2,600. You don't need those savings, but if you wanted to build in a completely different way than anyone else, it's not a horrible spot.
No, think about what you could do with your lineup if you went the sprinkler, Brown, and Pringle.
Boykin.
Or, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Malcolm Brown.
Yeah, Malcolm.
Yeah.
So you went Malcolm.
You can afford everybody.
You can afford everybody that you want. Yeah.
Defenses. This is going to make you laugh. Who do you think the number 1 and number 2
Is it-
projected defenses
Is
are?
it the low price defense that you're talking about? Is it the Jets?
The Jets are number 1. They're only $1,500.
Have you ever seen that before?
No, they started pricing these defenses down. As Cust will tell you, the Jets, number 10 in defensive DVOA so far this year. I have a theory behind this,
Who
though.
have they played?
It's not even who they've played. This works one of 2 ways. One, they've turned the ball over so goddamn much for like touchdowns that the other team doesn't even get to take the field against them.
Right.
Or by the time that they've scored these defensive touchdowns and the offense does take the field, they're like, yeah, let's just run it up the middle or take a knee. Like, we're
Yeah.
already winning by 30. Who
Well,
cares?
that's exactly what happened last week with the Eagles. I mean, if you watch that game, the Eagles' offense was not good. It wasn't in sync. I mean, they got a couple defensive touchdowns. They tried to run the football, and then McCown came in and played most of the fourth quarter.
And it even happened in week 2 against the Browns on the Monday night
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
Simeon got hurt overall. Like, there was a bunch of situations where the Browns could have taken shots downfield or they could have went for it on 4th and 1. They were like, screw this. We're just going to run, not fumble, and punt back to you because you're going nowhere.
Exactly.
So
And-
I think that's a very misleading number.
Yeah, I think it is too. And week 1, they played Josh Allen, who turned the ball over 3 or 4 times in that game.
And one of them was a pick 6.
And one of them was a pick 6. So, and that was unlucky. That was on Cole Beasley.
Yeah.
He popped that up.
So if we start talking about touchdown, like weirdness of all of this,
Yeah.
so you have the pick 6 against the Patriots that came against from the backup of the Patriots. What the hell that idiot's name is?
Don't even know.
And then
Yeah.
Josh Allen throws the pick 6 that bounces off the hands of Cole Beasley, just
Yeah. So he
back the
takes
other way
the-
for CJ Mosley. And CJ Mosley's not playing in this game.
Right, yeah.
So I think the Jets are a trap. Washington's number 2.
that's a trap too. I think that's a trap
I
too.
like the Skins better than I like the Jets.
Me too.
Although there's a huge,
Yeah.
they're like triple the price.
They can get after the quarterback. They sacked Brady 4 times last week. They still have some decent players on defense. If I had to choose between the two, I'd go that way. But I don't think I'm going to play either of them.
Number 3, the Chiefs.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why the hell
I guess
are
you
the
can get,
Chiefs?
because you can sack Deshaun.
Sure. you can-
Atlanta couldn't, but everyone else can.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, yeah, you can. It's the same thing on the other side, right? I mean, the offensive line is pretty bad on Kansas City. I mean, JJ Watt coming at you. I would assume that you could, if you're going to roll out the Chiefs, you could at least take some shots on the Texans. I really like the Niners. I know you like the Rams. I think both those defenses are in play. I think both teams are going to throw more than they want to.
So after that, teams are spending up for the Ravens against the Bengals.
Yeah.
The Ravens don't have a good defense.
No, but
just,
it's a
but
good
it's against the
matchup.
Bengals.
Yeah.
So the ones that I like, I mentioned the Rams. They'll be, because they're going to be so low owned. Like if I play 5 teams, I'll use them on 1 kind of thing. The 2 that I really want to go to, I love the Saints at $3,200. I really like the
Yeah,
Saints
they
this
just
week.
have a really good defense. in
And they
general.
get after the passer. And Minshew is horrible under pressure, by the way.
He's from-
Watch these games. He dropped the ball last week.
I know. I said on the footballer show that he had like 9 touchdowns to 1 interception, but it was like he has 6 fumbles. I think he's lost 4 of them. So like he hasn't been throwing a lot of picks, but he's been pretty sloppy with the ball. So yeah.
The other one that I like, the Cardinals, $1,900. That's the cheap defense because we talked about it earlier. Like this is one of the highest total games on the slate. There's going to be a lot of passing plays in this game, and Arizona's like mid-level at getting to the quarterback. And against Atlanta, that's like enough.
Yeah, that is enough. Those are the defenses you want to attack. We've said this a couple times. Teams that are going to throw the football. Like you don't want to play the Broncos and the Titans. They want to run the football. It's going to be a slow-paced game. There's not going to be a lot of plays ran in that game. You're going to get a ton of plays run in that Arizona and Atlanta game. So yeah.
Yeah, and I like them better than the Falcons defense, who legit doesn't get it.
The
That's why I
Falcons-
kind of like Kyler here. Like, if you can't sack Deshaun Watson and he plays like basically with ghosts as an offensive line,
Yeah.
I know Kyler's prone to taking a bunch of sacks, but it just doesn't seem like Atlanta's got the goods to do it.
No, they don't, and they've just been so awful defensively. Like I said, I think that Dan Quinn's he's going to be the next coach fired. I just think they need a mix up. They just can't tackle anyone. They can't get after the quarterback, and they want to throw the ball a ton too. So that's why Arizona is a good play. You know, Kyler running it in himself because the offensive line is so bad. Like DJ hasn't been all that efficient inside the red zone.
Let's talk some spreads before we get out of here. You and Michael Beller do a show every week on spreads, right?
We do, yeah.
Stealing my idea. I invented talking about spreads, by the way. Someone told me that. Not that I invented it, but like, you do a spread show? You know, so-and-so does a spread show. You just ripped them off. I was like, I think people have been doing this for like 40 years. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I mean, you guys have them. Ours is not nearly as entertaining as your guys'.
Don't say that.
It's.
Would you say yours has a bit more information on it?
I don't know. We have some information, but Beller's got some information that he comes to the table with. But yeah, we do a pick show this week. We've started off strong this week. Want to know? Last week was okay. The week before that, real bad. We go through every game and then we give 7 at the end. I think I got 1 of my 7.
That's rough.
That is totally rough.
I
was on the Browns last week.
Yes, so was I.
It wasn't good.
Me, Jeff, and Tim are all over 500 for the year.
Nice. Yeah, overall we are as well, but that 2 weeks ago was a bad one.
So nothing really changing, like half point here, half point there. The Bengals have actually dropped 1.5 points. They're down to 10.5. I still like the Ravens. I'm not betting it, but I like the Ravens.
Yeah, I'm not betting that game either. Just a division game, like I feel like it could be sneakily close, but
the two that have had
staying away.
That's one with the biggest line movement. The other one is the Texans are just 4 now.
Wow.
And Monday night, all of the money continues to pile on the on the Lions.
On the Lions,
they opened at 6. It's 3.5.
3.5 is when it was 6. I was really feeling Detroit. I ended up leaning with Green Bay. I do kind of feel like that could be a pretty close game.
I think Green Bay is just better.
They are better. They have a better defense. They have a legit defense.
The Lions actually have a pretty decent defense, too.
Yeah, they do. But I think overall, the Packers a little bit better. I mean, they're doing this without Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball a ton. Like, he's not putting up those big games. He had one 400-yard game, but I went back and looked at last year and this year. It's been like 240 or fewer passing yards in like 13 of 16 games. He hasn't been, the potent Rodgers of old.
The ones I like, which is scary for what they could look like in 2 months if they get on the same page offensively, get everyone back healthy, or get Rodgers going 100%, and it's like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
But I don't have any one game from that's why I picked New England on Thursday night as my lock.
Yeah.
Just like, that's the game that I like the best.
It's a weird week.
I like the Titans +2 in Denver. I like Dallas -7 at the Jets.
Too.
And I kind of like the Skins -3 in Miami. Miami's not until Miami covers the spread. I'm just betting against them.
That's a game I'm gonna completely stay away from. I picked it on the show and I picked Washington because I just was like, guys, like Miami is this bad. I mean, so if this game was at home in Washington, they would be 7-point favorites, right? Roughly. I mean, they're 3.5-point favorites on the road in Miami. Miami's just brutal. They're awful. They're just so bad. Washington has been bad this year, but they've at least shown us a little bit more than what Miami has. I like Minnesota at home to win by a field goal.
Over, do you?
Yeah, they should win by a field goal.
That game is going to be dictated by what Philly does in the first half, and they've been
awful in the first half,
except for against the Jets.
Yeah, but I mean their offense has been brutal.
But if they can jump out to like a 10-0 lead against Minnesota, that game could be over.
I don't know. That secondary is not good.
It's not, but like
Cousins says to throw the ball 40 times.
every time that they're forced to do that, they're bad.
That's not what they want to do. They want to run the football. I think that they win. At home, they're just such a tough team to beat.
Here's one for you. A prop. Total receiving yards. And then I'm going to be playing, I might not bet a spread this weekend. I might just play props where I've had far more success. Terry McLaurin, over. What do you think the number is for receiving yards?
60?
66.5. I like that over.
Yeah, I take that over too. And he's basically done that. He's right around that number every single week.
Yeah, and he's not playing the Patriots this week.
Yeah, exactly.
And Keenum's back.
And Keenum's back, which is positive news for him because he's been going to him. Yeah, he's scored a touchdown in his first 3 games. He's the biggest part of that offense. He's probably going to get 8 catches, 8 or 9 catches. He sat out that. Didn't he send out that one game?
I believe he ended up. Did he end up
Did he
playing?
play?
No, he was out.
I think he sat out.
Yeah.
And then he came back last week, so he's healthy. Yeah, it's Miami.
NFL lines. And I really want to see that because I didn't realize the props were posted this early. Let's scroll down here. This could be a fun segment that we do.
Let's do some
Pat
props.
scrolls through props.
Let's do some props. I mean, it is a weird game for betting. I really do like. There's a couple games that I want to just tease down to. Like Dallas is going to win, Baltimore is going to win, and then there's another big spread in there too. It's slipped my mind.
Baltimore?
No, Baltimore, Dallas. I'm forgetting it now, but teasing down to those teams winning by like a field goal.
Oh,
pretty positive.
I think a lot of people are on the Delvin Cook reception train.
What is it?
What did I say it was going to be 4.5? It's 3.5.
Wow. Oh my goodness. I thought we said 6.
No, we said 4.5.
That's over all day. All day.
And Sanders is 2.5.
2.5? Yeah. I mean, that's a good one too.
I like both those.
Yeah. Dalvin Cook is going to catch 5 or 6 passes in this game.
Here's an interesting one. Adam Thielen, over under 5.5 receptions. Everyone has bet the under. It's plus 120 to bet the over. That's
just it. That's a weird. I know he was sick on Thursday. I don't know if that has anything to do with it because if he doesn't play, he's
probably sick of Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, we're gonna be sick of Kirk Cousins too. The Eagles can't stop anybody in the secondary.
I know, it's weird.
No one. And Thielen's coming off that game. He's been more consistent than Diggs.
It's a lot of catches. Fairness,
he's gonna do it.
Let's see here.
The other one have half of that in the first drive.
Receptions in this Jets game. Where is Crowder 4.5?
I like that too.
I like that.
Yeah. I mean, you have to. And again, he's not going to get 14 catches, but that one game that they played together, that was the first game that they played together. Also, in preseason, Crowder was pretty good.
Yeah, I
right?
agree.
It's the same old Crowder, right? It just gets hurt.
Yeah, just don't be hurt and you'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, play the full game and you're gonna catch 6 or 7 balls.
There was one more. I wanted to look at Tyler. Like, if there's one spot where you can really attack the Ravens, it's
Tyler Boyd is nice.
It's in the slot. I like Tyler Boyd this week.
I like Auden Tate too.
I don't know if this is a spot.
There's just not a lot of guys there. And as I mentioned, the offensive line, I just don't think that they're going to have a lot of success running the ball with Joe Mixon. So I think Dalton, in the top 5 in passing attempts.
Yeah, Boyd 6.5.
That's pretty high.
That's too high.
Is Tate there?
Tate, yeah, 3.5. That seems a bit high too.
I don't know. He's had team high targets in 2 of the last 3 games. He's
sure, but he really comes down and catches them.
It's part of that's on Dalton. He's a big
body. Dalton is factored into these lines,
I guess, but he's still getting the looks and the targets. What about D.D. Westbrook? D.D. Westbrook's probably in that 4.5 range. He's had a few games with at least 5 catches.
I think this is an interesting way to do it. Just who are guys we like?
What are guys we like, especially in the slot? Some slot guys.
Receiving yards, no. Player receptions. D.D. Westbrook 4.5.
Kind of high. But
it's the same as Chark, and Chark is plus 125.
Oh, wow.
But they move Chark around the field.
They do move him around.
So if they can get him off of Lattimore, they're going to try to get him the ball.
Sure.
But maybe yards is a better idea for him. Yards, 50.5 for DD.
That's not bad.
63.5 for Chark.
Chark is that big play, obviously. He gets all the touchdowns, the air yards. He's finding the end zone, those big plays. But DD's been pretty consistent. He's had at least 6 targets, I think, in 3 of his last 4. It's not bad.
All right, let's do one
slot guy.
Let's do one last check-in to see if any more breaking news has come about.
It's been a wild week.
Yeah, it's been. Watch, everyone's fine now.
Yeah, Gurley's
Gurley's back in. It was just fake news. The latest. Ooh, Dwayne Brown and DJ Fluke are doubtful for Sunday. Browns. Watch out for the Browns.
I was actually
I picked the Browns on the show.
just going to ask you about the Browns because you and I have had this conversation before. When everybody is out on the Browns, right? What happened in Baltimore? Everyone was out on the Browns, and they put up like 500 yards of offense. What about Odell Beckham Jr. in DraftKings this week?
I'm too big of a coward to do it, but it makes
Fair.
so much
It
sense.
makes the most
I'm
sense
using Chubb
ever.
instead.
Yeah. I mean, they did. I want to say they did a great job of trying to get Odell Beckham Jr. involved in the game last week, but
They tried to throw to him.
At one point, he had more passing yards and rushing yards and receiving yards. And when the game was out of hand, they even said, "Okay, guy, go out there and return this punt."
And fumble, which I lost a week on, by the way.
I needed 6 points from Baker and Odell Beckham Jr. to win my matchup on Monday, and I did not get it. I got -2 from Baker
I had the points
until the fumble.
and then I lost by a point.
You wonder why they even threw him out there.
It's strange.
Like,
He must have said, "I want to go do this." And
Maybe.
then Freddie Kitchens didn't have enough guts to say, "Fuck off, go sit on the bench, man."
Yeah,
Don't get
there
hurt.
was really no reason to. There was absolutely no reason to do it. You already had Baker on the sidelines. There was no reason to put him in that game. And yeah, I could tell the second that he was running around like that, it was bad news.
Running around like he was LaShawn McCoy holding the ball.
He was either going to get crushed or fumble or hurt himself. So yeah, I think Odell. Some of the questions that I got at the Athletic this week doing the chat on Tuesday at noon is. What the heck do I do with Odell?
You
Beckham
have to
Jr.?
keep him.
Do I play Crowder over him? Like those were some
No,
of the
I
questions.
wouldn't play
like,
Crowder. I have him at wide receiver 24 this week.
Me too. He's in the 20s for me too.
But I'm not benching him for like bad receivers.
No, that's what I mean. You just take the upside. I think it's the buy low window. The opportunity is now. It doesn't get any easier. His schedule is pretty tough over the next few weeks.
Yeah, and then it gets easy.
Then it gets really easy.
Yeah. So
but by then you already be out of the damn playoffs.
Well,
Well, you took Odell in the first round.
Well, what Jake and I had said is that he's in a weird position of being a good buy and a good sell.
Yeah.
That you need to find the right trade partner in your league. If you're 1-4 or 0-5, and
Yeah.
you're still serious about getting back into this, and you have even if you're 2-3,
Yeah.
and you have Odell, you need to go to that team that's 4-1 or 5-0 and be like, listen, Odell's going to be good. It's just he's going to be like shit the next 4 weeks.
I know.
So, but you can afford to have him on your roster. I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
And the other way around, if you're 5-0, you should be going to look at Odell Beckham right now.
Yeah,
because you can
that's-
get him for way less than he's worth.
Super smart.
And then you're going to have to eat it for a few weeks. And then when it looks like you're making the playoffs
Yeah.
anyway, then you got Odell in the playoffs.
That's what I love about fantasy. That's to me, it's wheeling and dealing and buying low and selling high and knowing when to do that right away. Like, and it happens multiple times, like you said, buy low, flip, and do it again. Like absolutely.
But-
and the one league that I have Odell, I'm 1-5, and I am trying to unload him.
You have to.
I-
and you have to take less than he's worth.
you have
to get rid of him
You
to
have
get
bite
someone
the
who's
bullet.
good.
Yeah, you have to bite the bullet. And
You,
just
you
try-
think he's going to light up watch him light up the Patriots next week.
I mean, it's possible. It's possible in this week that they just really force him the ball.
Yeah. And with note, Dwayne Brown and DJ Fluke for Seattle, a bit on the mend. Aaron Rodgers limited again Friday, but their big practice, whether it's MVS, whether it's, I mean, Adams
is not
play.
playing.
Amendola, Aaron Rodgers, all these guys. The main practice for the Lions and Packers is on Saturday.
It's on Saturday, yeah. I don't know if I would even play MVS in a season-long league. I mean,
Nah,
he was so garbage. They didn't even throw him the ball. They threw him the ball in the first drive, and then that was it. Like, Jones had the most catches, and then after that was Jimmy Graham with 3.
Would you play Allison, who just gets all the red zone targets, or
I
would you?
guess
Yeah.
I'd play him just because of that. He gets all the red zone targets. Maybe he scores a touchdown. But the more I think about it, the more I'm kind of leaning towards Detroit being in this game.
I mean, the public agrees with you. That's where all the
Yeah.
money is.
I mean, originally when it was like 5.5, I was like, whoa, like that's too much. Now it's coming down a little bit. I'm torn on that game, to be honest with you. I feel like it's gonna be a field goal game.
All right. Chris Meaney, theathletic.com.
The Athletic. Yeah.
How's fantasy hockey going? You're doing that for them and football.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, we had a show this morning with Eric Young, the Eric Young.
The Eric Young at The Athletic.
Yes.
Did he happen to go to the Ohio State?
I don't know. He's in Vegas right now. Maybe we should hook up with Feinberg.
He definitely should.
Yeah, he should. No, Eric's great, man. He's loving it right now, and I love the fact that he's loving it. He's such a big hockey guy. He just brags all the time about how much hockey he watches. He says he watches like 400 games a year. And
Isn't he
that's
like on the
more than
road
me.
wrestling?
He's on the road. He's wrestling. He says he's watching hockey on his iPad while he's getting ready for events. And yeah, no, he's awesome. Like he goes to all the Predators practices. So yeah, if anybody out there wants some hockey stuff twice a week at the Athletic.
Cool.
Yeah.
You have like a promo code like Jake has?
No, I'm not big like Jake. You kidding me? You don't give me promo codes. No, I mean the Athletic /4 stack lines to give you 40% off.
That's a promo
But I mean,
code.
there's a promo code with all the podcasts that have been launched, and there's been a ton. Like almost every single hockey team, basketball team. Now that NBA is just a couple weeks away, it's basically theathletic.com/that name of the show will give you 40% off. So if you wanted 4 stack lines, I'm sure that'll help Eric and I out. Hey, some people care about hockey.
What is it again? 4
stacked lines.
4 stacked lines.
Yes.
Who's good in hockey?
Geez, I don't know. Lots of guys.
No, I mean like teams. Like who are the teams?
Oh, the teams?
Who are like the 4 best teams this year?
Vegas.
Really?
Vegas is good. They're my pick to win the cup. Vegas, Tampa Bay, Boston's good again. The West is kind of garbage. The Blues are good. They won the cup last year. That's probably the 4 that I would choose. I mean, the Leafs are right there. They're top 5.
Fuck them. I hope they come last.
Well, I saw a custom prediction.
Yeah, Cuss did pick them to
They
win.
did lose to Tampa Bay last night, 7-3. So they haven't beat anybody good yet.
I don't know what I like more about the Leafs. I don't want them to come like last so they get the first pick.
Yeah, they won't come last.
I would prefer they lose like heartbreakingly in the 82nd game of the season so they don't make the playoffs. Although I am a huge fan of them going into these playoff series and just like getting destroyed
to the Bruins
in the most
over and over.
heartbreaking way possible.
So
I love it so much.
It's set up like that again, just the way that the divisions are. I mean, I'm sure they'll change the playoff format, but the number 1 team inside that division will get a wild card team, and then the 2 and the 3 play. And Tampa Bay is the best team in the East. They're going to come first. Tampa Bay and then Toronto and Boston are going to play each other again. It's just, we said this last year. It was the easiest thing to predict. It was like the years with Cleveland and Golden State. You just knew it was going to happen. You just knew that was going to happen, and that seems like it's going to be the case this year again. And it's been, I think, 2 straight years. I don't know. Paul can speak up. It's been 3 of the last 5 or 6 they've lost to the Bruins in the first round.
How are your Habs?
They're just mediocre.
They gonna make the playoffs?
Nah, probably not. Last year they had 3 fewer points than the Leafs and more points than 2 teams in the West that made the playoffs. Just the East is so stacked. So they're not there yet. They're on the rise. By the time they're good, price will be 100 and they'll be shit probably. But they got a couple nice young prospects. They're okay. Average team.
Follow Chris Meaney on Twitter at Chris Meaney. And again, 4 Stacked Lines is the hockey podcast. And you can check out all of his football work either with the fantasy footballers or up on theathletic.com. You can follow me, the PME, at the PME or the PME if you don't know what that means. Not 2 E's, just the one, just how I say it. Figure that shit out. Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can do that up there. I told you about the giveaways and join the Pat Mayo Experience Listeners League on DraftKings. The link is in the description of this video and podcast. Recommend you go do that right now. All rankings updated in the same spot, in the description, in the comment section, and up on DKPlaybook.com. My DraftKings cheat sheet is up there, as are my ownership projections of the top owned players at each position for the Sunday Week 6 main slate. All right? I'm Pat Mayo. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time.
Mayo experience! Experience!